Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Cavan-Smith. Tonight, over a dozen people die in Boko Haram's recent raid on the northeastern Nigerian city of Maiduguri. Gunmen and suicide attackers descend on the city, but Abuja believes the extremist group is on its last legs, and authorities are focusing more on rebuilding communities ravaged by years of the insurgency. Also, firefighters in South Africa's Western Cape battle blazes that have followed the biggest winter storm to hit the region in decades. And as South Sudan struggles with the insecurity caused by years of civil war, those most vulnerable to the fallout from the conflict struggle to find enough to eat. Many, forced from their homes, rely on aid to stave off starvation. But first, Boko Haram's biggest raid on Maiduguri in 18 months has left at least 13 dead, including 4 militants. The northeastern city is the birthplace of the extremist group. The jihadists used anti-aircraft guns and several suicide bombers to hit 4 locations around Maiduguri late on Wednesday. They also clashed with soldiers in Ali Dawari village and the suburb of Jidari Polo. The violence erupted just hours before acting President Yemi Osinbajo arrived in Maiduguri to launch a food relief program for the hundreds of thousands of people displaced by Boko Haram's 8-year insurgency. Now, the group is on its last legs following a regional military fight back that continues to launch occasional attacks. Japheth Omojua joins us now with more. Japheth, so 6 months ago, Abuja was saying that Boko Haram was all but defeated. What does the scale and timing of Wednesday's raid perhaps reflect about the state the group may be currently in?
I think the group, what they did yesterday was out of desperation because they've practically been out of the media. And with the coming of the acting president to Borno State today, they were very strategic in doing what they did yesterday. But by and large, they are on their last legs. They are able to launch soft attacks as yesterday's, but they really are on their way out, as a matter of fact.
So has the group been weakened enough to really allow much meaningful progress in repairing some of the damage done by the insurgency?
Without a question, if you're paying attention, you'd see that the government is focusing a lot more on reconstruction, on bringing the IDPs back to their houses from all the various places that they've been displaced from relocating the refugees from where they were back to their houses, helping them to live their lives again. So a lot more is being focused on the consequences of Boko Haram and their terror over the last 7 years or so, rather than focusing on Boko Haram itself. That is not to say that they are not focusing on Boko Haram in terms of fighting them and really totally clearing them out of this region, but more energy and focus and resources are now being directed to the people that are affected by the insurgency.
Thanks very much. Japheth Omojua there for us. Well, at least 38 people were killed in Somalia's semi-autonomous state of Puntland after heavily armed al-Shabaab extremists stormed a military base at the remote Af-Urur camp near the Galgala Mountains. Witnesses claim that fighters beheaded some of their victims. Al-Shabaab claims to have seized weapons, ammunition, and more than a dozen military vehicles. The extremists have vowed to step up attacks in response to the government's last offensive against them. Now, at least 4 people have been killed in blazes around the South African town of Knysna. On Thursday, firefighters struggled with strong winds as they tried to put out blazes that continued to ravage homes in the Western Cape region. Flames destroyed dozens of homes and up to 10,000 people had to be evacuated. The fires followed a powerful storm that hit the region on Wednesday, downpours that themselves came after Cape Town's worst drought in a century.
Rough seas with 15-meter-high waves created a moment of panic.
Oh my God! Woo!
The car over there, our car.
Okay, it's okay.
Look at the car, it's been smashed against the side.
It's okay. Relax.
Videos like this inundate the social network. With trees falling and suburbs without electricity, Cape Town experienced one of the worst storms in decades. Lately, residents of the Western Cape have suffered several disasters. They blame these phenomena on climate change.
Everybody's quite worried about this, what's going on with our drought, and all of a sudden we're having this big storm. It's not normal for the people.
This is also unusual for the Disaster Risk Management Center. Officials have been on high alert for the past 72 hours. Schools were closed and people expected the worst.
Actually, the rain wasn't that bad. What was exceptional was the gale force winds.
The wind affected shack dwellers who weighed down their roofs using sandbags, but sometimes it was too strong. Shacks literally flew into the air.
Another house was here and then floated away on Tuesday at night. It is the first house to float away. Yeah.
This young woman has twice been a victim to natural disaster. A few months ago, she lost all belongings in a fire. Her house was rebuilt here, but she does not want to live in these unstable structures.
The aim is to have people move back up into the mountainside within the grids, which will have paved walkways and be able to be far more reinforced and secure structures.
The authorities believe they have avoided the worst, and they ensure these residents that their dwellings will be rebuilt for free.
Now, at least 14 people were killed and dozens wounded in South Sudan after gunmen ambushed a convoy of buses and other vehicles travelling towards Juba. The attack happened in Moli, around 140 kilometres from the capital. The band was being escorted by a joint police and army force when attackers opened fire. South Sudan struggling with deadly insecurity as a 3-year civil war drags on. The fighting's also caused a man-made famine, which is affecting millions. Many of those who fled their homes rely on outside help to stave off starvation. Our correspondents report.
Just a few kilometers away from brutal and ongoing conflict, the small village of Ganyel is a sanctuary for families displaced by the fighting. Sarah, John, and their 5 children fled their native village of Lear for this opposition-controlled enclave.
The soldiers killed Sarah's mother. They killed a lot of people. They attacked all those who could not flee.
They arrived in Ganyel a few weeks ago. This porridge is the only food they can find for their children.
It's a little better here. With the food that the World Food Programme has given us, their health is improving.
Their youngest daughter is just 4 years old. Since their arrival, John has been taking her to the health center for regular weigh-ins. Many women come to the clinic hoping for treatment for their famished children. Nak Yang no longer needs a daily checkup, but his father still wants reassurance.
This child now is healthy, but before she was very weak. She was seriously malnourished, but when she get food from here, she's now okay.
Leaving the clinic, John wants to show us how he came to Ganyel. His family risked everything to escape Lear.
This is where we arrived. First we had to run out of the village to hide in the marshes. We spent 2 days in the water. Then we were able to find the canoe that brought us here.
These marshes, along with armed gangs, restrict humanitarian access, so airdrops are the only solution. These are the first bags of food that the displaced have received in months. Sarah stood in line for hours to receive the bag of sorghum she was promised.
This is very important for us. This is the first time we've received food. With this, we'll make some soup and we can eat.
These rations will be stretched to last the family for 1 month, but access to aid is uncertain, and the threat of starvation is a constant worry in Ganyel.
Well, that's it for Iron Africa for now. Thanks very much for joining us. Do so again if you can. Take care.